you're ready, just signal me. The sound of Lexi. A track called Signal Me, kicking us off tonight. Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to Real Talk right here on the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. How you doing?
I'm in a club, your time. Could I talk to you for a moment? Okay, for a moment.
I want to say greetings and salutations to each and everyone locked in.
Just give me the time.
Those on Tune and Radio, big ups to you. The massive out of New Jersey and NIE Radio, much love. The motivator, big up yourself, my brother. Remember, you can catch the motivator on a Thursday night at 9 p.m. And on Saturdays, 1 p.m. It's Double Trouble Thursdays and Motivation Saturdays. I want to say big ups to those who are locked in on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com. Much love, Mr. Lindsay. You can catch Clinton Lindsay live at noon, Monday through Friday. And he has a special broadcast on Sunday afternoons. They're called Sunday Classics. Yeah, you can catch that on Reggae Global Radio. I want to say big ups to those who are locked in on Zeno FM in the stew pot. Big ups to you. Much love to those on PEMGTV.com. Big ups to the massive on Facebook Live. Those who are locked in on... Wait, I didn't check Clubhouse. Big ups to those who are locked in on Clubhouse. Those on Facebook and Clubhouse, remember it's only a segment broadcast, so don't get too comfortable. Don't worry, I'll signal you when you're ready to come. When you're ready to come over. When I'm ready for you to come over. Come over where, you might be asking. Oh, I didn't tell you? Yeah, because it's a segment broadcast. The whole thing happens on kevinstew.com. Live and in living color. You can watch and listen. Or you can just listen. Just like how you can listen on the affiliate station. Yeah, man. You can do it on kevinstew.com too. Of course, if you missed the broadcast and you want to go back and catch it, the podcast is available the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. Or you can watch the YouTube, the same name, the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. But again, you don't need to go searching. Go to kevinstew.com and everything is right there for you, at your fingertips. But the podcast is available everywhere that you listen to your podcasts. I do want to say thank you to my segment sponsors. Pulse Media Group, and Being in the Moment is priceless. Give them a call. They can do everything you see on kevinstew.com and more. So you have a church service, a wedding, a funeral, a church service, a wedding, a funeral, a party, a graduation. Did I leave anything out? A seminar? Call them up and ask them how can they hook you up with streaming services. Whether it is on a secure platform being yours or theirs. 754-999-1140 is the number to call. That's 754-999-1140. Tell them you heard about them on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. That's too long for you to remember. Just remember the name, Kevin Stew. I want to say big ups to Althea and her healing heavenly hands. Althea is a licensed massage therapist operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties. She comes to you, bringing her table, her oils, and over 20 years massage therapy experience. Give her a call, 954-655-9000. That's 954-655-9000. Or email her at theolater@att.net. She only has one request outside of paying her. And that's that you get off her table and go sleep somewhere else when she's done. It's called the Kevin Stew Clause. Because I'm always falling asleep on her table. I want to say thank you to Reggae Global Entertainment. Reggae Global will act as your booking agents, handle your tour management, take care of your business registration, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and so much more. Go ahead and give them a call, 954-804-8199. That's 954-804-8199. Or check them out online, reggaeglobal.com. Mention my name and say how well they treat you. The funny thing is you don't mention my name and you still get good treatment. I just want you to mention my name because that's how marketing goes, right? I want to make sure that their sponsorship is working. I want to say thank you to Matt Neal Trucking. With Matt Neal Trucking, your goods are in good hands. They're licensed and insured movers in the state of Florida. So you want to move from point A to point B, put some things in storage, don't have the manpower, the equipment, the transportation, no worries. Go ahead and give them a call, 954-406-9740. That's 954-406-9740. And tell them you heard about them on the night shift with DJ Kevin Steele. Greetings 3263. I'm your favoriteest DJ. I like it. I thank you. I want to say big ups to those who are locked in on Facebook Live once again. Thank you for sharing. I truly appreciate your love here. You know, there are a couple of people that always share. When I say always, I mean always. They're always sharing the Facebook Live. And I truly appreciate love that. One of them is Hubert Fowlin. Much love to you, brother. Hubert, much love, Bridget. So just take your time, girl, enjoy yourself any moment. Oh, girl, any moment, yeah. Who cares if it's cool with it, yeah. I can read your mind, but your body signs done it one day. Oh, yes, it's right there. Cause in your eyes, I can tell that you want me, yeah. Give me the signal. As we bounce through this track called Signal Me. A track from Lexi. I kinda like it, don't you? I wanna say big ups to Gladys Odell. She's one of the other people that usually share my broadcast, share the Facebook Live. And I really want to publicly just say thank you to them. No special occasion, no special reason, just giving flowers while I can. Hubert, Gladys, truly appreciate of the support. The track is called Signal Me. The artist goes by the name Lexi. And before I get deep down into tonight's broadcast, let me do a little bit. I have a couple more PSAs that I want to get out before I get carried away. One of them being the weekly event, Rhythms of the Heart. GMAT Music Solutions presents Rhythms of the Heart. It happens at Eats 876. The restaurant is located downtown Fort Lauderdale at 627 South Andrews Avenue, right beside the Publix. Ladies are free all night. There's live music and the DJ. Tickets are available on Eventbrite. Only $10. You don't want to miss out on this event. It's always a fun-filled event. It's really cool. And many of you know that I'm involved with Mary Kay. Yes, I do have a Mary Kay store. And for those of you who have been asking, there are products available for men. There's a face and beard care, and there are fragrances. Outside of that, skincare products, they're for both men and women. So don't think that it's just for the ladies, yeah? There's also one product for the ladies that I am always in admiration of. Outside, and this one is the CC cream. The funny thing about it is that it's not just for the ladies, because men sometimes need to balance out their skin too. You know, if you're going in front of a camera all the time, this is one of the things that you want your makeup crew to have. It's called the CC cream, and it contains SPF 15, so it provides care, protection against UV rays. Do check it out. Okay, so that takes care of my PSAs before I get into the broadcast, right? Numbers to call, numbers to text to get you in touch. 773-789-STEW. That's 773-789-7839. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp, you can Telegram. Of course, since it's a phone line, please call. I want to hear from you. If you want to text, jump into the Stew Pot. What is the Stew Pot, you might ask? Well, it's that interactive portal on kevinstew.com where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment. Yeah, that place? Yeah. The Stew Pot is what others call a chat room. We call it the Stew Pot. Come on in. You don't need to register. You don't need to offer your firstborn, an internal organ, a blood sacrifice, or anything like that. It's completely free. Just go to kevinstew.com and boom, you're there. You can remain anonymous if you wish. You can change your name. We only ask that you remain respectful of others and of the platform. Alright, so tonight we're asking the question, is it looks or is it scent that is behind the attraction to the opposite sex? Well, the attraction to anyone for that matter. You know, is it how a person looks? Is it physical attraction? Or is it pheromones? Yeah, so I'm pretty sure some people would hearing me say, is it scent? Immediately thought, oh, do they stink? Do they have a body odor? Or is it the perfume that they wear or anything like that? It is, yeah, cause you can place your order. I ship everywhere. So you can place your order. We'll work out the shipping and handling for those that are international, and you know, the shipping tends to be a bit pricey. We'll see how it works. Yeah, but yes, you can place your order. I'll get you some stuff. So physical attraction or is it scent driven? Is it pheromones? So you can't really put a finger on it, but you're around someone sometimes and you get triggered, and your heart skips a beat, and your palms might get sweaty, or you get that butterflies in your stomach, and it wasn't because you were eating caterpillars, that kind of a thing. What is it? But before we get too deep into it, let's ask the question first. What is physical attraction? Now, according to Very Well Mind, when you're scrolling through profiles on a dating app, the first thing you probably look at is a person's picture. Well, that is what is right there in front of your face. It's their face. So, if they seem attractive to you at first glance, you may explore their profile and then decide whether you want to communicate with them. However, if their picture doesn't pique your interest in that split second, you probably move on to the next one. Hey Pat, how you doing? Now, similarly, when you enter a room, such as a restaurant, a bar, a office, even a conference room, you probably do a quick scan of the room. Now, if someone seems physically attractive to you, your eyes may linger on them just a little bit or keep going back to them. And you may find yourself interested in what they're doing or what they're saying. Physical attraction is often instant, and it can contribute to feelings of excitement, increased energy levels, and craving for physical connection upon seeing someone for the first time. Instant physical attraction and ensuing emotional response are contributing factors to what people call love at first sight. Now, if it's a mosquito, then it's a love at first bite. But, um, yeah, like Mark would do. Leave a bridge alone, but now, what are some of the factors that could contribute to physical attraction? You ever wonder? Because everybody has someone that they're attracted to, and everybody has had that attraction, that jump out at you kind of boo, and you're like, ooh, you had me at boo versus hello, that kind of a thing. Oh, your birthday is coming up this Sunday? Oh, we're gonna have to do a special musical therapy for you tonight. But, and yeah, I'm on Saturday. Will I be on this Saturday? What Saturday is this Saturday? Oh my goodness. I'll let you know. If I'm on this Saturday on Reggae Global, we'll do a special thing just for you. Alright? But happy Earth Date when it comes. If we don't interact before then. Now, there are some factors that play a role in physical attractiveness. And you kind of have to wonder how it is that it works for some people, but it doesn't work for others. The physical attraction. Really? Because some people might have similar features, and whereas they may catch your eye, you're not necessarily attracted to them. It's weird, but it happens. Now, facial features are one of the things. According to a 2015 study, facial features and facial symmetry are the most important determinants of physical attractiveness. Who knew? Then research shows that apart from facial features, other anthropometric factors, such as physical dimensions, the broad shoulders or the broad hips, the pronounced derriere, even the size of hands and feet, And the ratios, so dimensions and ratios, these things play a role in physical attractiveness. Now, the face typically plays the most important part in social interaction, making facial expressions another important component in physical attractiveness, according to a 2021 study. Now, the study notes that smiling signals intelligence and trustworthiness and increases physical attractiveness. So those people that you find smiling a lot, chances are you find them more attractive. Weird, isn't it? Um, Ed and John are doing well, Pat. They're doing very well. So Mark is obsessed with feet. Well, make sure you wear shoes when you're around them. Does it matter if they're in shoes or not? No, let me tell you something. Because we had looked at this in a previous broadcast. Fetishes, right? The funny thing about feet is the section of the brain that deals with sexual stimulation, the sexual stimulation as it relates to the genitals. That section of the brain is right next to the section of the brain that is aware of feet. So sometimes the signals get a little bit crossed. Those of you who don't believe me, you can check it out yourself. But yeah, that is why people have foot fetishes, and it's associated with sexual stimulation, because that section of the brain is right there by the section of the brain that deals with the genitals. Crazy. So if you are wondering what it is that why some people have this fetish, this attraction, that is why. So a 2015 study shows that other non-visual cues such as voice and scent also contribute to physical attractiveness. So some people have a face for radio. And so all you hear are their voices. And people have fallen in love with voices. I felt sorry for anyone with feet. You see, we need Mark here to defend himself. Where is Mark? Now, evolutionary psychology has a controversial theory about physical attractiveness. It suggests that since physical attractiveness helps people attract mates, evolutionary factors play a role in what people consider attractive. So, Pat, I was going to ask you, but thank you for sharing. I love arms, and it's not for sex reasons. It's because arms are comforting and sometimes mischievously playful. So is it the arms that you love or the hands? I'm just wondering. Asking for a friend. Mark. So, evolutionary psychology. Their studies note that physical features and dimensions that suggest youthfulness, physical health, mental and emotional well-being, strength, and fertility are considered physically attractive, since those are desirable qualities in a mate from a biological and reproductive standpoint. Now, for instance, evolutionary psychology studies indicate or conclude that a body mass index, so your BMI, and waist to hip ratio, WHR, within a particular range of those scales may be considered more attractive than a BMI or WHR outside of those ranges. You understand? So if it's within proportion, some people find it more attractive. Some people find the waist to hip ratio, if the hip is disproportionately larger than the waist, that is what they find attractive. You know, big broad hips and a small waist, that all the young man them love nowadays. Yeah, that kind of a thing. Now, according to evolutionary researchers, this is because having too much body fat is associated with negative health outcomes, such as heart disease, diabetes, and restricted movement, whereas not having enough muscle and body fat is linked to a lack of strength and reduced fertility and childbearing ability. However, there is not always a correlation between what is the healthiest psychologically speaking and what people find the most attractive. Now, there are also sociocultural factors that are at play. And before we get into that, it's time for us to take a break. So what we're going to do is that we're going to take a quick break and give people an opportunity to call in some more friends. You know, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too, because they get attracted to people. They may not be attractive to you or attracted to you. Well, you know, sometimes your enemies are attracted to you. That's why they're your enemies, because you're not interested in them. But call them up too, because the information is good for everybody, right? It's the Night Shift to DJ Kevin Stew Real Talk Night. Tonight we're looking at looks or scent. What is it that is the main contributor to attractiveness? Is it looks or the scent of attraction? Real quick comments here on YouTube Live. So it's the entire arm that you love, Pat. Okay, cool. When my mother was alive, I used to go by her and bite her arms just for the fun of it. You know, who's the mischievous one here, Pat? Just wondering. Yeah, so it's that's the kid in you, definitely. How old were you when you last bit your mom's arms? I'm just wondering. All right, so Facebook Live, Clubhouse, this is where we're going to part company. Come on over to kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment for the remainder of the broadcast. Much love to the affiliates, NIE Radio, ClintonLindsay.com, Zeno FM, PEMGTV.com. Much love to you. Truly appreciate of you. The broadcast continues on all those platforms and at the home of the Night Shift to DJ Kevin Stew, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment. We'll be right back after these few messages. Take care. If you can't, come and join us until we meet again. But in the meantime, between time, we'll be right back. It's all about the Kevin Stew hands, legs, and feet set, available through marykay.com/Kevin Stew. For the hands, the Satin Hands Pampering Set. The legs get the Mint Bliss Energizing Lotion for feet and legs. But just for feet, there's a limited edition Mary Kay Pedicure Set. Place your order for just $68 until May 30 on marykay.com/Kevin Stew.
Quality Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music. or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulse Media Group.
School, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school,
In math,
I learned that I'm ugly
I
and
learned
useless.
that I'm trash.
And in gym,
In biology,
I learned that I'm
I
pathetic
learned that I'm fat
and a
and
joke.
stupid.
In history,
Today in
I learned that
school,
I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick.
And in
And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell.
and a joke.
In chemistry, I learned that no one likes
In
me.
biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid.
In English,
And in
I learned
math,
that I make people
I
sick.
learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today
The only thing I didn't learn today
The only thing I didn't learn
Is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
Reggae Global Entertainment presents the brand new self-titled album from Yishka with 9 great songs. Oh Baby Let Me Love You.
Oh, baby.
Be Grateful for Life.
Be grateful for life.
Shake You Down.
Girl, I wanna shake you
What else can I do?
What else can I do?
Babe, Come Over.
Baby, come over.
My. It's our time
It's our time. You know I love you.
for your love.
For your love, I would do anything.
I'm falling.
I'm falling in love again.
Yishka. 9 great songs. Available on all streaming platforms.
You sure look good tonight.
Available now.
Hey, I'm representing for DJ Kevin Stew, working on the night shift radio show. Won't go changing like the weather, just to please the devil never. Will DJ Kevin Stew sell his soul? That's a word and honor. It's Christine representing word and honor. Selassie DJ Kevin Stew.
Yeah. Black love is bigger than you, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than him, it's bigger than she. Black love is all about unity. It's us. Black love, it's we. Hey. So make we talk for a second about this. Cause every goddess when me know want this. Fi in love, peaceful and bliss. A black love full of chocolate kiss. Black moments make we reminisce. Light your spliff if you drink, take a sip. Tonight sex enough for we target. Cause I've got something better. I swear to God I do. I've got a man that loves me and reads to me too. Him take me on a level, nothing left to do but confess that I love him, and that's the truth. He reads to me, he teaches me, that pleases me. Black love so sweet. He lays with me and plays with me, all day with me. Black love in me. Oh, how we connected through time and space. The love strong, stronger than the black race. A pure magic anytime we embrace. Me love your king, I will never embrace. The man go deep, deep in the bookcase. Stroke me body plus me mental space. Spiritually I have to elevate. 'cause I've got something better. I swear to God I do. I've got a man that loves me and reads to me too. Him take me on a level, nothing left to do but confess that I love him, and that's the truth. He reads to me, he teaches me, that pleases me.
The sound of Caramanti,
So sweet,
bringing us back from the break. The track is called Black Love.
and plays with me, all day with me.
This segment's brought to you by Alpha and Her Healing Heavenly Hands.
I miss enough of them a try. Announce love but I lie them a lie. Them couple.
What does love look like to you?
Cause every other month I just fight them a fight. Before long one of them.
What is it that has made you attractive to the person that you are now so in love with?
That's not right, but
is it their looks?
for me black life. Hey. Yeah, a Caramanti.
Is it their scent?
Family.
What is it? Now, before we went off on the break, we were looking at some things that describes how people are attracted to each other, right? And some of the things that fall under the realm, under the umbrella of physical attraction. So back in 1995 was when your mom passed, Pat, and you still miss her today. Well, I know what that is like. My mom passed away 13 years ago on Valentine's Day. She transitioned, I should say, because she lives on in my memories. She lives on around my house and pictures here and there, and she lives on in me. So, you know, there's that. But without getting too mushy, tonight we're looking at looks or scent of attraction. What is it? What is that thing that attracts people? Thank you, and condolences to you also. So there are socio-cultural factors that are at play also. By the way, numbers to call, numbers to text, 773-789-STEW. Don't be shy. You can call in. I won't put you on blast. I love to hear from you guys. 773-789-7839. You can call, text, WhatsApp, Telegram. They all work. If you're overseas and you can't call directly, use WhatsApp and call me. I get the call. 773-789-STEW. That's 773-789-7839. All right. So, factors such as society, culture, and historical period can also play a role in determining what's considered attractive and unattractive. In other words, if a culture favors certain body types over others, individuals can be affected by these preferences. People may internalize standards and pursue them, and sometimes to the detriment of their health or well-being. For instance, they may pursue a BMI that is below what is considered healthy in order to meet socio-cultural standards of size. Problematic. Those are the bulimic ones, right? One study found that participants perceived as more attractive women with low and physiologically unhealthy BMIs compared to women with healthy BMIs. Another study found that participants from urban areas thought images of women with lower BMIs were more attractive compared to participants from rural areas who felt women with higher BMIs were more attractive, big and round, like an English pound, that kind of a thing. More cushion for the pushing. Some people found that to be more attractive. And then culturally, I can speak for the ones, well, let me speak for myself as a Jamaican and for my associates, my compatriots, that's putting compatriots and compadres together. Yeah, that's how I got that first word. Don't worry about it. Anyway, but some friends of mine, because, they say ornithological creatures of similar plumage agglutinate, right? So some friends of mine and we are attracted to some of the same physical features. And, until you recognize something that an individual is more than what you see, you know, but that used to be a good starting point. When stigma and the thin ideal can play a role in determining what people view as attractive and unattractive, regardless of what is physiologically healthy, is what you call weight stigma. Now, physical attraction is characterized by physiological changes in the body, such as release of chemicals, dopamine and norepinephrine in the brain, says Dr. Romanoff. Quote, attraction also activates the orbitofrontal cortex of the brain, which is the part of your brain that processes sensory rewards. These physiological changes can trigger emotional and behavioral changes. Now, these are some of the signs of physical attraction, according to Dr. Romanoff. Ready? You have your pen and paper out? Here we go. Smiling when around the person. Okay. Maintaining prolonged eye contact with them. I know some people that I'm attracted to, but they can never maintain eye contact. It's crazy. I've had, you know, through over time, I've seen this. And it's weird, because here it is that you're attracted to someone, but you can't maintain eye contact with them because you're attracted to them. How does that work? But according to Dr. Romanoff, it's a thing. Feeling nervous at the prospect of interacting with them. So you get the butterflies, you get the jitters, you get the nervousness and the sweating in the hands and, yeah, the stuttering, all that. Unconsciously mirroring their body movements and expressions and speech and postures. Now, funny enough, the mirroring thing also works in forms of communication. So when you're showing that you are into someone's communication, that you're actively participating, there's some people that will repeat what you're saying or try to finish your statements or say them with you because they're just into the conversation. Not necessarily into you, but they're into what you're talking about. There is having reduced appetite and difficulty sleeping. Yeah. But that happens when you have heartbreak too, doesn't it? There is feeling unsteady, ecstatic, and animated. So all these things, Dr. Romanoff says, hey, these are characteristics, these are traits of someone that is physically attracted to someone. Now, physical attraction is an important component in romantic relationships, and it is often at the starting point of relationships, helping people to connect with each other and build an emotional attachment. But you ever notice how you might see a couple that have been together for, 3 decades, 4 decades, and you look at them and you're just meeting them for the first time and you go, what does he see in her physically? Or the other way around, what does she see in him? But you never knew them when they met each other, however long ago. Now, that is something that you can keep in mind when you look at old couples. Physical attraction also helps people maintain relationships. According to a 2015 study, being physically attracted to one's partner is linked to greater marriage satisfaction and longevity. I have so much I could say on that. But I have more information. I don't want to get too carried away. I want to squeeze some of the other bits of information in here. Now, relationships should not be based on physical attraction alone. Couples should have a strong and widespread foundation for their relationship. And this includes an alignment of values, goals, priorities. All these things come into and form a nice little package. Now, if partners are not connected in these other realms, then their physical attraction might not be able to sustain a more serious relationship, according to Dr. Romanoff. So, keep these things in mind, yeah? That it is more than what it appears. But do looks really matter in a relationship? Psych Central says something you may be wondering, but maybe even hesitant to ask, is if how you look will have an impact on your relationship, and if it does, how much? So appearances do matter, right? For some reason, I don't know if it's conditioning or just how evolution, whatever it is. Because again, especially in black cultures, the women that had broader hips were said to have childbearing hips, and that made them more attractive. And so coming through the years, which is probably why as a Jamaican, pronounced derriere and nice broad hips would be the first thing to catch some people's eyes. It's a thing. Now, it doesn't mean that looks are the most important aspect of intimacy. Or as I would like to call it, and I learned this from a friend of mine. She said, into me see. And that really eliminates the physical. Because now you're looking past what you see on the outside. And you're getting to know the person on the inside. Psychologically, emotionally. All the other alleys except the physically. Now, attractiveness is subjective. And many individuals will have different preferences and find different qualities attractive. Many of us hear that physical appearance play a role in relationships and jump to the conclusion that only the supermodels and famous actors of the world could have any luck in love. And this could be further. Well, it could not be further from the truth. Even though looks do play a role in dating, what actually attracts a partner physically may not be what you expect. Everyone has their own insecurities, and no one is perfect. However, there are certain physical traits that can make partners more attractive and carry some weight in your relationship. So do looks matter? Yes, a level of physical attractiveness is necessary for some people, most, as according to Psych Central. But a notable exception is if you identify as sexual. Some people who identify as asexual. Some people who identify as asexual feel romantically attracted to others without feeling sexual attraction. So there is love, but you ain't getting none, basically. When it comes to looks and attractiveness, the definitions are often confusing and vague, and can depend on the era, culture, and individual. For many people, looks don't necessarily refer to someone's physical features. Many people find physical attributes like personal style, hygiene, and posture attractive also. So it's also important to note that sometimes attractiveness doesn't have anything to do with your physical attributes. Attractiveness can also mean many things that go beyond the physical, like having a sense of humor, having shared interests with your partner, being kind, having values and principles, making your partner feel safe and happy, being attractive to others, having arms. I'm just tossing that one in for Pat. But that's all to say, looks are not the only thing that can attract you to someone. With exploring the role of looks, that looks play in attractiveness, on a societal level, our definition of beauty today is different from what it was 500 years ago. And this is according to research. Most notably, in the last decade, or last couple of decades, there's been a social media induced phenomenon in which new standards of beauty are evolving out of the digital space. There is, I don't know how many of you remember Snapchat dysmorphia. This is a perfect example of how virtual communication has given rise to different ideas that beauty tend to affect the nature of dating. And that was according to one research paper. This is a phenomenon in which people use Snapchat and other social media apps to develop this body dysmorphic disorder. They want to look like their online selves, even though their images online don't reflect their true appearance and have been modified using filters and visual effects. So, you see the person on the social media platform, whatever filter that they used to spruce up their picture, then you see them in person and you walk past them because you can't recognize them. Yeah, that kind of a thing. So we see many more people of color as symbols of beauty in the media now due to the exposure effect. And this increased representation may drive us to collectively recognize the beauty of different races and ethnicities in our day-to-day lives, as should have been happening a long time ago. So now you can tell that it's not people of color that wrote this article, right? You can, just from this alone, you can tell. Now, researchers found that increasing people's exposure to certain faces increased the attractiveness ratings they gave to those faces. This may suggest we'll see interracial dating and cross-cultural attraction and acceptance a whole lot more frequently. Thus, the idea of beauty, though very real, becomes very subject to change and can have many different effects. Hey Marlon, how you doing, bro? Looks is not what initially attracts me to people. It's general personality and personality attributes that makes someone attractive to me. And this is what we're talking about when we say it's really subjective. I will notice a physical attribute right away that is more attractive to me, but that's not what attracts me to the person. So it is the thing that catches your eye. It's a bait, right? But there's still a hook to make the connection and reel someone in. I want to say big ups to Marlon, the Reggae Global Radio General Manager. Marlon has a broadcast called Real Rockers. Now, ain't talk about a man that knows his music history. Big ups to Marlon. He's an entertainer extraordinaire, walking, talking, music encyclopedia. You can check him out Mondays and Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, Reggae Global Radio and affiliates. Check him out every Monday and Wednesday. Wicked. Now, evolutionary scientists think that some aspects of attraction and mate choice are evolved. That is, they're in our genes, not solely as a product of our environment, but it's innately in us. So, as an example, researchers found that men, straight and gay, tend to find potential mates more attractive when they show physical signs of fertility. In women, one physical attribute linked with fertility is waist to hip ratio. Another is age. In fact, age appears to be an attractiveness factor for men and women alike, with women consistently choosing to marry older men and men choosing to marry younger women across dozens of cultures. And this was also in a 2018 review. Now, scientists believe that women's evolution of the physical attractiveness of a male is influenced by indications of the potential male's genetic quality, as well as the mate's ability to protect and invest in her and her children. One indicator of these qualities in men's musculature, particularly in the upper body, where researchers have found it is a feature that women tend to find attractive. You know, the chests and the shoulders and the biceps and the chiseled cheekbones and, yeah, the square chin, that kind of a thing. Yeah, but these evolved preferences are complex and interact with other factors. Individual differences and environment also plays a major role in shaping what you find attractive in a potential partner. And of course, there's personal taste. And at the individual level, people can simply just have different tastes. You probably heard the age-old question, what's your type? Well, for the most part, my type is female. For the most part. But there are certain things, certain qualities, certain physical attributes that make some women stand out more than others. But like Marlon, that is the bait. That's not the hook. And if we get to talking, that is not what is going to keep me coming back. Right? But it's good to have you around. You know, nice to look at. We're going to take another quick break. So we've pretty much looked at a lot of the physical things when it comes to being attracted to someone. There's an aspect of attraction that many of us really don't think of. And when we come back from the break, we're going to look at it a little bit. Because we see it happening in the animal world. We see it happening in the insect world. We see it happening everywhere else but in the human world. Or does it? Pheromones. Yep. We're going to check it out when we come back from the break. So call your friends, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, and your enemies too. Call everybody. Tell them. The night shift is on with DJ Kevin Stewart's Real Talk Night. And we're talking about looks or sense. Which is it that causes attractiveness? What works for you? Is it how the person looks? Or is it that scent that they have? We're not talking about the perfume that they wear. We're not talking about the body wash that they use. We're talking about that particular scent that not everyone may pick up on. Pheromones. Do we have it? Do we exhibit it? What are they? We'll find out some more when we come back from the break. We'll be right back. Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links. www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
Making great music is one thing, sharing it with the world, that's another. Let the professionals at Reggae Global Entertainment help you to another level. Specializing in artist management, booking, public relations and marketing, and promotion, Reggae Global Entertainment can help you with event planning, websites, photography, and video production, press releases, legal services, and graphic design. They can even help you with music production, so you can get the sound that you want every time. Call Reggae Global Entertainment at 954-804-8199. That's 804-8199. Or visit them online at reggaeglobalentertainment.com. Teddy Greaves Jr. with 6 brand new songs out now on his brand new EP, Teddy Greaves Jr. with songs you know and love like Can You Stop the Rain? One Last Cry. Can't Get Over You. Wait Too Long. You and I. And One Last Cry, the acoustic version. Teddy Greaves Jr. Now available on all major digital platforms. Teddy Greaves Jr.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulseemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
Yes. Akar Mantino, I'm making notes right now. You are locked in to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift.
Big bumper girl, them hard to find. Big bumper girl, when me want fi wine. In the summertime, winter time, me money pile up, me want them fi mine. Big bumper girl, you look for one of a kind. Tell a slim girl, them no waste me time. Girl bumper fi big, big. Big girl bumper fi big, bumper fi big. Big. Big girl bumper fi big, bumper fi big. Big. Big girl bumper fi big, bumper fi big. Big. Big girl bumper fi big. Me love it when the bumper big like a school bag. When me look at it, me feel like me want grab. Put me hand in the ear and say thank you God. What a beauty when it bend over. No need no invitation, me just go over. Watch that thing there, ya clap. Me can't sleep in peace. Heavy, boom. 7.5 on the scale, you a shade down the place. Girl bumper fi big. Big girl bumper fi big, bumper fi big. Big girl bumper fi big, bumper fi big. Big girl bumper fi big, bumper fi big. Big girl bumper fi big. I said, ladies, if you think, let me see you move your hips. Let it happen, just let it happen. And if you know you got the curve, show it all around the world. Let it happen, just let it happen. Sure. Big bumper girl, them hard to find. Big bumper girl, when me want to wine. In the summertime and winter time, me have my money pile up, me want them for mine. Big bumper girl, you look up on them for kind. So the slim girl, them a waste my time. I said, ladies, if you think, let me see you move your hips. Let it happen, just let it happen.
Zone of Neri bringing us back from the break.
You know you shut the earth, show me love.
Jack called Bumper for Big.
Happen, just let it happen. Young bumper for big. Big girl bumper for big, bumper for big. Big girl bumper for big, bumper for big.
Yeah man, bumper for what?
Big.
I tell you, it's a Jamaican thing.
Bumper for big. Big girl.
But other cultures have come to embrace it also, and I claim it as a Jamaican thing because I'm Jamaican. You know, call me biased if you wish. I'm fine with it. But you know, if you have that kind of departure, you know, we want to see you leave all the time, but don't want to stay gone. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, and you know, anybody out there that agrees with me, you know, you can let me know. Feel free. This is the Reggae Global sponsored segment, and much thanks and respect to the Reggae Global Entertainment Massive. You know, those of you who have been keeping track of the Reggae Global Squad on YouTube. You know, we put out episodes every week. So you can follow and see what is going on with the RG Squad. You have Ed Robinson, Joanna Marie, Melly, you have Marlon, you have G. Cole, and yours truly, DJ Kevin Stew, as part of the RG Squad. And we have fun. You know, just sharing of what we do, how we live, how we go about our days. Sometimes we don't even have much to talk about and end up talking about foolishness, but, you know, it's a part of our day. So that might be something that you find attractive. You never really thought about it, did you? You just found yourself realizing that, boy, I like this person, I like this thing. Why is it? What is it that is causing me to like them? Sometimes it's nothing that they did. You're just in their presence and you're so caught up. Well, I should hope you as women find men attractive too. It would be unfair for us men to be the only ones to find women attractive. That would just mean that y'all are just walking around being objects of desire. We want to get some of that attention too. And actually, I like it when a woman can step up and say, I like how you look. I like how your feet are shaped. I like how your hands. I like your smile. I like your haircut. I like whatever it is, that physical thing. And even to say, I don't know what it is about you, but I just like you. Wouldn't that be cool, guys, to hear some women do that? And then they may not even be sexually interested in you. They just find you attractive. And if we could just get up one day and decide that we are going to put off the stigmas of giving a compliment. And when we see someone that is deserving of a compliment, we give it to them. And if you are the one to receive such a compliment, just receive it gracefully. It doesn't have to be that someone is interested in you and wanting to bid you while they're giving you a compliment. It's just because you're worthy of a compliment. And just keep it moving. Now, if something clicks between the two of you, fine. And there's nothing wrong with that either. The sad part of it is, do men really love us as women? All right, let's talk about this a little bit, Pat. Because I love women as women. It's not about you having a pair of watermelons on your chest. And watermelons come in various sizes, ladies and gentlemen, just to point that out. But it's not that you have a pair of exaggerated breasts, or that your hips are saying "badow," and you have a butt that, as you walk, it says "walkie money, bringing come." It's nothing like that. But you have men companions, and you love having men companions. You grew up with boys, Pat. There are certain things, certain aspects of our development that make us prefer certain people in our company. That's the other thing. And as such, when it comes to being attracted to people, there are certain things that are part of us because of how we grew up that makes someone look better. You know what I mean? So I grew up in a house full of women. So I have female friends up the wazoo. And I was the youngest one in my household. So I have a bunch of older friends, both male and female. And that works for me. May not work for you, but it works for me. Yeah. But before we get too far off to the next side and looking at talking about men loving women as women, but we have to flip that question around also and ask, do women love men just as men? Or is it because they are banking? They bring that money to the table. They're strong, so they look good, and they would look like a nice trophy to take home to the friends or the family members. Because women have men trophies also. It's not just men that walk around with eye candy. Women do it too. So, is it as a woman, I understand your position, being objectified, but as a man, we get objectified also. Now, sometimes it would be good that it is your partner that decides that they're going to objectify you, because sometimes that level of attractiveness kind of goes to the side. because it has morphed to other things. So now you're looking past what you see, and now other people are seeing what you always saw, and they're laying on thick the doting, and you're like, yeah, I know that, but they're the ones that are the outside is where all the doting is coming from, where and it seems like the attention is now out there but not inside where it's supposed to be. Pheromones. Let's look at that for a moment. Now, these are a fascinating series of chemicals produced by a whole variety of animals and plants. Yes, plants produce pheromones also. Some even say that they can be found in humans. Now, this is still up for debate. You may have come across pheromone fragrances claiming to do all kind of things. I don't know if those who like to do a lot of fragrance shopping would come across them more than others, like myself. But if you know about them, you can let me know, because I'm curious. I don't want it personally. I'm just curious about it. But there's still a lot to learn about pheromones. And what we're going to do is see what we can find out about pheromones, what they do, and whether or not they actually exist in human beings. Numbers to call, numbers to text, 773-789-STEW. Put it out there once more, 773-789-7839. And I'd love to hear from you. Call, text. It comes directly to my phone, and it's right here in front of me. So I'll see you messaging me. I'll see you ringing me. You know, money alone doesn't cut it. Affection means more to me than money. Money is nice, but companionship means a lot. I don't know if I sound like an old-fashioned person, but communication is greater than anything else. Well, here's the thing, Pat. The foundation of any good relationship resides in communication. The problem is many of us don't know how to effectively communicate and all the aspects of communication. Now, I can tell you what I think you want to hear. That is communication. Communication is also being open and honest and telling you what you don't want to hear, but doing it in love. So that too is communication. So when you talk about communication, you know, you have to be open to take the good with the bad, and to recognize that the bad, quote unquote bad, comes with a level of care. So honesty is key. Cool, I get that. But there's something called being brutally honest. And they only refer to it as being brutally honest because it comes with a negative tone. It is telling you the things that you don't want to hear that are true. So that is where it is considered to be. You're not sugarcoating it, but you're laying it out there. And it's the truth. So that gets some people in trouble. And it has gotten me in trouble before. But guess what? I'm not going to stop doing it, because it is what it is. And if we're going to be open and honest, might as well just be open and honest. Take me as I am. You know, not how you'd want me to be. So don't make me into what you want just because you want that. Yeah? So there are some people that get into relationships and they go, well, you know, this is how that person is. No, but wait until I'm done with them. I'm going to whip them into shape. I'm going to make them just the way that I want them to be. And when they don't meet that criteria, now you get upset because now you say that they hurt you because they didn't meet up to your expectations. But y'all never even communicated about this, because this thing that you're talking about, whipping them into shape, making them who you want them to be, you didn't even have that discussion with them. You didn't ask them if they want your help in making them over. You didn't ask them if this is your true self. Who are you exactly? And you didn't even take into consideration that as we grow, we change. Why do we change? Because we learn things. And in learning things, we're going, and in growth, we should be changing. So the person that you knew 10, 15 years ago, if that is the same person today, then something is wrong, because you're stagnant, and anything that is stagnant is dead. So what do you need to do? You need to throw that out. You're not going anywhere. The problem is sometimes that growth, that development, that change is not in alignment with what you want. Now, what you want may not necessarily be the best thing for you. That's the other side of it. But you don't have time to take that into consideration because you're so caught up in self. But, I digress, because sometimes I go off on these tangents and I have to reel myself back in. And it's real talk, and that's what we do. Right? You're not here to change any man, but what will a man change for you? Would you accept a man who says, I'm willing to change for you? That changes things, though, doesn't it? When someone comes to you and say, yes, I am this way, but I'm willing to change for you. Now, that speaks volumes on several planes. Because it says that this individual is recognizing something within themselves that they may not be comfortable with and have been trying to make a change with that thing for a while. And because of the connection that they have with you, they feel that you can help them along the way in making that change. So this is an individual that wants to make a change. That is different from the individual that you are saying that you are going to change to meet your needs because they meet certain physical attributes or they meet certain financial attributes, whatever it is that you find attractive in them, but that is not the whole of them. But you, because of that particular thing, you want to change the things that you don't like about them. Well, here's the thing. It's a package deal. It comes with the good and the bad. So, how do you like your packages? Pheromones. Let's touch on that a little while. Comment here. When we as women meet guys, we meet them as they are and shouldn't change them. We shouldn't change them either unless they decide to do it on their own. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. And it goes both ways. So men, when you meet those women that are all about the eyelashes that are 2 feet long, and that was how you met them, if that is what they're into, then if you're not into that, you have to decide, is this a deal breaker or not? Can you live with this or not? Things that make you actually stop and think about the people that you're getting involved with. It's not just, oh, here we go, let's do this because you caught my eye. Yeah, you understand, the relationship is a bed of roses. Don't say that it isn't. Roses come with thorns. That is the part you need to remember. So, what are pheromones? Officially named in 1959, pheromones are chemical substances that are secreted outside of the body in fluids like urine and sweat. Essentially, pheromones are they're a hidden form of communication. They send signals from one individual to another of the same species. And this triggers a response in the individual receiving those signals, such as hormonal changes or specific behavior. Now, while pheromones have been found in other animal species, scientists are still unsure if they actually exist in humans. Studies in the 1970s did publish findings that so-called pheromones were involved in period syncing. The idea that people who live together or spend a lot of time together start to menstruate at the same time. I've heard of this before. I've seen it happen before. Like I said, I grew up in a household of women. 5 people in the house, 4 of them are women. Lie. 3 of them are women. Sorry, Uncle Marlon. I apologize. Well, actually, there were 5. My cousin moved out and migrated. So, yeah. But, okay. Anyway. And, since back then, since research had been started, research has primarily focused on whether pheromones have an effect on human attraction and reproduction. But many of these studies have been questioned and described as weak by some researchers. Why? I'm not too sure. Despite this, many believe that it is possible that people do have pheromones, and some think that humans may no longer respond to them in the same way as other animals. Maybe because of evolution. We have a way of changing how we do things. More robust evidence is needed before any definitive conclusions can be made. However, if pheromones were found to exist in humans, it's likely that every person would have them in secretions, like in urine, in sweat, in semen, in breast milk, just like every member of other animal species. So we kind of have to ask the question, all right, if other animals have it, why not humans? Pheromones exist in a variety of animal species, including mammals and insects. They have been linked to functions like attracting mates, making territory, and even interactions between a birthing animal and its offspring. In fact, the first pheromone was discovered in a type of moth. And later, research found these chemical signals in the likes of mice, pigs, and goats. Now, what's interesting, one of the other things that is interesting is that mice and pigs tend to be used in science quite a bit. You ever notice that? Especially when testing medications and medicines for humans. A lot of the scientific medicine, other medicine studies and tests are done in mice and pigs. Yet, there's a question about whether or not human beings have pheromones. And this question has been going on for ages. Now, so far, according to healthline.com, pheromones have been categorized into 4 types. You have your releasers, your signalers, your modulators, and your primers. 4. Short-acting releaser pheromones tend to cause an instant and specific behavioral response, such as being drawn to a potential mate. We kind of see that happening in the humans, right? Don't we? A certain fragrance. And it's funny how fragrance is one fragrance. 2 people might wear the same fragrance, and it is received differently. And for me, that is proof that there has to be some kind of chemical reaction going on with that individual, why it is received differently. Hence, pheromones. Now, signaler pheromones are more social in nature, sending information about an animal like their overall health, recent diet, and place in a hierarchy. Modulator pheromones, even more subtle, affecting mood and emotions. And primer pheromones influence reproductive and developmental systems, such as puberty and menstruation. So, do we have pheromones? We have all of these activities happening in human beings, but yet still there's a question on whether or not pheromones exist in us. Why? What are we trying to prevent? What are we trying to hide? Are we trying to control how relationships work? Because it's all about control, right? Everything is about control. So if you can influence as much as you can influence, you do. Now, if pheromones play a role in attraction, then it could also play a role in recognizing that racial lines don't mean anything. Because then it's more about if, as Jamaicans would say, your spirit tick. Maybe that is it. But really and truly, because we are also energy. You know, like energies kind of seem to meld well. So that's an energy thing. And it takes us on another tangent altogether, and we probably need to do a whole broadcast by itself looking at energy and how our energy interacts with each other. But how far-fetched is it that it's a pheromone thing, and because of how we interact, we just gel? How far-fetched is that? And I don't think that is so far off either. So, oh my goodness. Comment here. Comment. I don't want to miss out on your comments, Pat. I'm not ignoring you at all. This is how my marriage broke up because too much dominance takes place instead of compatibility and understanding. We should understand as women we have no friends outside our race. Now that's an interesting statement to make. I'm gonna need for you to expound on that a little bit, please. Because as women, we have no friends outside of our race. What do you mean? Black men need to be aware of other nations. But here's the thing, for me, and this is where people and I would end up in deep discussion. And I like deep discussions because it really is much better than the superficial stuff. What is the difference between someone with blonde hair, blue eyes, light complexion, someone with dark complexion, blue eyes, dark hair, someone with curly hair, light complexion, brown eyes, someone with straight hair, dark complexion, brown eyes, someone with curly hair, dark complexion, blue eyes? As rare as it is, it happens. What's the difference with all of those people other than what you can see? And this is the issue that I have when it comes to racial divides. Because the person that needs an organ transplant, there's nowhere that they're going to say, oh, for my organ donor, they have to meet these particular levels of criteria. They need to check these boxes. They need to be of my race. Nobody I've ever come across fill out any application for a donor organ, and that is a stipulation. Because that doesn't make sense. So when it comes to these whole racial things, there are certain little things that work with black people versus white people. Like, there are some health conditions that affect black people more than they affect white people. It's a fact. There's certain medication that is for across the board treatment, but it works better on white people than it does for black people. But yet still it's prescribed to everyone. We know this for a fact. But beyond that, What is the difference? And so when we make these racial divides, it's really just a matter of preference and people of influence deciding what it is that is acceptable or what is not acceptable in a particular culture. Here it is. In my world, you don't exist other than being a person. Gender, yes. Race doesn't exist. And that gender is really what it boils down to, because that can take us to a whole nother place. I know people who are born one gender and identify as another right now. And they have gone through their transformation. And it doesn't change who they are. I interact with them just like I interact with anybody else. And we have good conversation and everything. So that's not a determining factor for me either. And I think the sooner that we get away from all these divides, the better off we are. But again, going off on a tangent, these nations don't see us as human beings. Oh, I missed out something. White men throughout history. So black men need to be aware of other nations, and white men throughout our history have raped our ancestral mothers. These nations don't see us as human beings. They took our ancestors to the four corners of the earth and stripped them of their cultures and forced us to speak their language. They also forced religion on us. Because if we're going to go back to our African roots, we're more spiritual than we are religious. There's a spirituality. They worshipped the earth that they lived in. They were grateful to the trees for providing shade and shelter. They were grateful to the animals for providing meat and transportation. They were and to the land for providing weapons, to the stones and for creating sharp objects to use as knives and utensils and weapons and such. Different. And again, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but yes, I'm not in favor of these nations. We were mocked, laughed at, and stripped naked in front of them, and lynched and pegged in trees, and the atrocities done. I'm not for them, and that's cool. That's totally fine. But does that mean that everyone who is from these nations are of that mindset? No, it doesn't. Because that is like saying every Jamaican smoke weed. We know that as a fact, not every Jamaican smokes weed. That's like saying every blonde is dumb. We know for a fact that that is not the case. So when we get into stereotyping, we need to be very careful. And yes, these atrocities happened. But understand this. Black people enslaved black people also. So when white people came to the black lands and captured some of these black people, they didn't just capture them on their own. Not all of them. Some were helped. There were alliances that were formed that helped to continue the slave trade well into its establishment, or well after its establishment. And even today, there are people from cultures that are selling people into other cultures. They're selling their own people into other cultures. So we can argue when it was started or who started it, but hey, does that get us anywhere? How about we argue about how to stop it? this particular broadcast is not about that though. It's about looks and scent or scent of attraction. I even forget my own topic. You see, Patricia, this is what you do to me. You send me off on a tangent. Africa is calling her children home in prayer to the threat of what is about to transpire with the war in Russia and Ukraine heading towards the West. Again, we don't know where that is going. And that is individuals exhibiting a level of ego and claiming territories. Again, but you're sending me off on all these tangents. Pheromones. Pheromones. That's what we're talking about right now. Pheromones. But real talk, that's where it gets us. Because in truth and in fact, you can't look at this aspect of our human being, the attractiveness, and not look at the things that repel. And these are some of the things that repel us. These are some of the things that make us unattractive. Biases. And many of us, we all have cognitive biases. It's a thing. We can't get past it because we're so conflicted with information that we learn along the way. And again, this is how change happens. We learn something and we find that it resonates with us. And so we effect a change to be in alignment with that thing. So, anyway, going back to the topic at hand, because I want to touch on this just a little bit, and then we go into musical therapy. We're going to have an abbreviated musical therapy tonight. And thank you to McNeil Trucking for sponsoring this segment of the broadcast. The last half an hour of the broadcast is presented by McNeil Trucking. With McNeil Trucking, your goods are in good hands. Mammals, and they say excluding humans, along with reptiles and amphibians, have a tissue that can detect hormones. It's called a vemoronasal organ, or VNO. Humans have VNO, but it is thought to be not functional. Now, it's kind of like the appendix. Doesn't really serve a purpose in the human body, but yet still we have it. And if it gets infected, then we have to remove it. And we live just fine without it, right? But as long as it's not infected, we're good. It can stay. What is the purpose of the appendix? Not in humans, but in other animals, it provides it's a part of the functional digestive system. So, VNO, vemoronasal organs. Do we have them or don't we have them? Or is it that we have them, but because science has not paid much attention to it, we ignore it? If we can sense smells, if we can smell fragrances, then how is it that we have a non-functional vemoronasal organ? Somebody please tell me. I never really like touching a person's feet. I'm not a foot person. I'm an arm person. So you really you hold on to the person's arms, right? Whether they be muscular or they be flimsy like mine, you'll hold on to them, you'll touch them, you'll appreciate of them. Are you specific about the type of arms that you like? I'm curious, Pat. So with humans not having a VNO, well, their VNOs not being functional, it doesn't mean that humans don't have the ability to detect and respond to pheromones as other animals do. But there's still no hard evidence, as according to science, that humans have pheromones. Okay, so is there a possibility that we have pheromones? Because my feeble mind is saying we've got to give off some chemical responses that we can sense in each other why certain things happen. It's got to be a given. We don't just know that we're feeling stimulated and want to have sex and our partners just look at us and go, oh, that's that look. Let me get ready. No, there's more to it than that. And I really believe that we give off certain chemical responses because certain things happen within us when we're stimulated that way. When we're sexually stimulated, we react a certain way. Our bodies react. And so it's not just the way we're looking, because blind people respond to stimulus also. So it can't be just the way you're looking, because blind people can't see it. So how do they know when their partner is ready? You never really thought about that, because many of us, the majority of us are not blind. We don't have that problem. Well, if you want to call it a problem. Some of us I think a lot of us would be better off blind. But pheromones, do they play a part in us being attracted to each other? Or is it just the physical attributes that we have? I don't know. Maybe it's worth a look. You go ahead and take a look at it and see what you find out. And then share it with me. And we can talk about it at any time. You have my number, 773-789-STEW. 773-789-7839. Drop me a line. Let's reason. But until then, it's all about musical therapy. For the next 13 minutes, this is the Anthem Reggae Band. A track called I Like the Way You Move.
Looking at the way you groove, but I don't understand no God can make you feel the way you do. I know.
Yeah. Arms will have a little bit of meat that you can nibble on. But how much meat do you require?
I like the way you move. Sexy thing you do. I like the way you move.
Good night, Pat. Pleasant dreams. Thank you for the interaction. So, Pat, does that make me attractive?
Good love for sure, baby. I like the way it flow, darling. Especially how you pause, baby. Doing that for me, oh. Good love for sure, baby. I like the way it flow, darling. Especially how you pause, baby. Doing that for me, oh. Baby girl, I wanna know the deal. Really don't care if the sign and seal. All I can see is you and me. Baby girl, that's the way it's supposed to be. Tell you the truth, man, I'm gonna tell you no lie. Really wanna slide up between them thighs. I sure do like the way you move. Baby girl, I like the way you move. Sexy thing you do. I like the way you move. Sexy little thing you do. I like the way you move.
New music from Wayne Wonder working out with Frankie Sly. The track is called Party All Night Long.
On the beach and I chill, recline for the chair with some high grade bill. Pop the clock and make the champagne spill. The beach party a shot in and the grill. And girl they enough for dance and fi so till. Liquor can't done food up on the grill. No man nah pre, no man no fi go kill. We feel like some woulda easily blow all a mill. All I wanna do right now is party all night long. We a party all night. So roll out the Hummer, roll out the new 4Runner. We not have to dig in our coat to spend like Usher when we party here, man a outer. Dream weekend, y'all nuffer. We they are pre, if you see which one buffer. The one day, oh my word, let me stutter. She look like a crusher, and she man a buffer. Watch this. All I wanna do right now is party all night long. All night long. All night long. The party a pearl. With some high grade bill. Pop the clock and the champagne spill. The beach party a shot in and the grill. And girl they are enough for dance and fi so till. Liquor can't done food up on the grill. No man nah pre, no man no fi go kill. Me feel like some woulda easily blow all a mill. All I wanna do right now is party all night long. All night long. I'm not going home anytime soon 'cause I'm having fun.
This is Cat Smith working out with UT Ras. This is En Caso de Incendio. Yeah man, Jan Fire.
Y en las noches abrazada de la almohada, mi recuerdo enciende el fuego de tu piel. En caso de serio, estoy disponible. Si sabes mi número, cuenta conmigo. Correré hasta tu puerta, dispuesto a pagar esta sed que te queda. En caso de abriendo mis brazos, iré a rescatarte de todas las penas. Verás que esperar nos está consumiendo. El amor como el nuestro no tiene final. Todavía se te nota en la mirada que me extrañas y te mueres por volver. Y en las noches abrazada de la almohada, mi recuerdo enciende el fuego de tu piel. En caso de serio, estoy disponible. Ya sabes mi número, cuenta conmigo. Correré hasta tu puerta, dispuesto a pagar esa sed que te queda. Caso de serio, abriendo mis brazos, iré a rescatarte de todas las penas. Verás que esperar nos está consumiendo. Si amor como el nuestro no tiene final. Make sure everything
Food tastes better, the air smells fresher, the riches and the pleasure.
This is the sound of Dangling.
Yes, you're my treasure.
A track called This Lifetime.
Girl, I want you to know.
And in this lifetime, how many people have you come across that you have been attracted to? Can you count?
You're like a sweet bedtime story to a little child.
4 minutes to the top of the hour. 4 minutes before I get out of here.
This lifetime won't be enough to give you all this love. I'm feeling inside, it's piling up. One life won't be enough to love you.
As we get out of here, with Dangling bouncing in the background of the track This Lifetime. I want to thank you each and everyone for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you for the interaction. Thank you for sharing. I truly appreciate, love you. Thank you to the affiliates. NIE Radio, ClintonLindsay.com, the Foundation Radio Network, PEMGTV.com, Zeno FM, the Stew Pot. I truly appreciate, love you. Thank you to the sponsors. Paul C Media, Althea and Her Healing Heavenly Hands, Althea SU, licensed massage therapist, Reggae Global Entertainment, and the sponsors of this segment, McNeil Trucking. When you want your goods to be in good hands, you call up McNeil Trucking for your removal needs in the state of Florida, licensed and insured. This has been the night shift with DJ Kevin Steele. Tonight we did a thing we call Real Talk. I want to thank you each and everyone once again, and as we part company, I want to encourage you to look out for members of your community. Remember, your community is not just development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide. So those that you pass on the bus, on the plane, the boat, or the train, whether you walk, or ride, or drive, these are members of your community. Do something good for one of them today, because you never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow. Do remember, coming up at noon Eastern, you have Clinton Lindsay on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. From right here in South Florida, I bid you a very good night. Do be good, but if you can't be good at it. Take care of yourselves until next time, yeah? Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the Stew Pot, where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.